Hello, this is a quick reply to some incendiary remarks made by somebody who commented on my Voulez-Vous and I Have a Dream Anomalies videos. Basically, the thing that annoyed me really was the original artist couldn't give a shit. Well, the original artist can, and moreover, when the new mixes have been put out, yes, there are commercial considerations. And part of this video also, I suppose, highlights those issues. But there is certainly an awful lot that goes into putting out these new things. And the fact that ABBA have put out, I think, 5 different versions of these CDs. I think there's the Polydor versions that originally came out, followed by some of them remastered by Tretov, although not all of them. Then the 2 Astley remasters, then the Heinrich Jonsson ones for the complete studio remasters. That's 5 different versions. Now, surely somebody somewhere must be saying, well, these aren't quite right. We've got to keep doing them and keep doing them until we do get them right. So, and I think possibly some of those people that are saying they're not right are the artists themselves. So yes, I think they probably could give a monkeys really. Now, to just try and sort of highlight the sort of process that goes on when making a CD from an old 70s recording. This is the War of the Worlds CD that was put out fairly recently. It's come out in the last couple of years. It's an SACD with a surround sound mix plus a brand new CD remix where they've actually gone back to the original multi-track tapes. So this is an extract from an interview from Hi-Fi News magazine from October 2006. It's a UK magazine for the, I suppose, for those interested in the hi-fi industry, obviously. But the first obstacle that they had to face was the fact that the multi-track machines, now this was one of the first 48-track productions that there was, and in 1976 these Maglink machines were state-of-the-art, but now, as Jeff Wayne says, it's gone to the great studio in the sky. And he says he found one that didn't work that he's got at home for 50p. But you know, it's the first job then is to find these blooming things and get them to work. And I think they have to blow cold air into them from fan heaters and goodness knows what else. And they only get a very limited time in order to use them before they pack up completely, I should think. It also says the first stage of any rebuild project is to extract the audio from the archive format, in this case multi-track analogue tape, but many tapes from the 1970s have not survived well due to deterioration of the plastic tape and its magnetic oxide. The usual, if drastic, solution to prevent the tape from breaking up as it's played is to first bake the complete reels in an incubator-like oven. The result is a spool that's normally only good enough for 1 or 2 more plays, so it's vital that when subsequently played, it's reliably captured onto new media at the very best quality. The War of the Worlds sessions were no exception, and all 77 multi-track reels needed the treatment before being captured in high-bit PCM digital audio form. So, yeah, I mean, that's only part of the problem, and these things cost hundreds of thousands of pounds in order to remix these things. So somebody somewhere must give a shit. But having said that, I'm afraid that I've got something now that's a little bit contradictory to that. I am absolutely delighted that this article has been published because it kind of vindicates some of the things that people who have been following these videos have been saying. This is December 2008's edition of Hi-Fi World magazine. Completely by coincidence, from what we've been talking about here, comes a letter from a reader to the magazine. It's been replied to by 2 of the writers here. This is the letter. Well, I don't want to infringe too much copyright here, so I'm only going to read out the letter plus some extracts from their replies. This is called Loudness Wars. Now, Rudolph used the word loudness war on here. Now, I don't know whether he'd read this magazine or not, but certainly I hadn't. Why do so many vinyl LPs sound better, says his letter? Well, you've touched on this before, and it seems that the reason is far less to do with the medium than with the recording and mastering. To wit, many recordings of the CD age have had the very lifeblood compressed out of them, all to make sure that the great general public can hear the quieter bits on their mobiles and iPods against the sea of background noise. Now, I understand the reason why the average loudness level might want to be raised in these circumstances, but shouldn't this be a switchable option at the user end, and not to have hugely compressed audio forced on everyone, especially those that have invested considerable sums on high quality kit at home? And they go on to ask for an article on there. And Noel Keywood replies, great subject, Stephen. One where the music business finally admits that quality does matter, if only after hearing what music sounds like after being mangled during mastering. One or two poor souls are obviously struggling to cope with all this, but mastering engineers seem reasonably understanding and genuinely concerned that audio quality is being forsaken for apparent volume. In a nutshell, this is all about compressing the amplitude of music upward on CD to make it sound louder, destroying dynamic contrast in the process. It's hard to see initially why anyone would want to do this, but the commercial logic is explained in some fascinating articles posted up on the Turn Me Up website, www.turnmeup.org. Now, I think he's probably saying that they are fighting against commercial pressures there. He shows here some tests that he did in Audacity, which is a free program available for Mac and PC, similar to what I did with the Buble Nirvana things. He talks about an audio file recording from somebody called Hugh Masekela and a Celine Dion song. Look at our analysis of a typical hi-fi demo track, Hugh Masekela's Stimela from one of Dali's impressive demo CDs against the popular commercial track Celine Dion's Right in Front of You from her CD A New Day Has Come. The peak level of the very dynamic sounding Stimela has been kept judiciously -2 decibels below 0 decibels, so peaks never hit the limiters. Compare this to the Celine Dion track that actually goes above 0 decibels and was obviously clipped. And he says that the dynamic range is half on the Celine Dion from the Masekela, and that is a good dynamic range on the Celine Dion track compared to commercial discs have. Tretov, when he remastered some of the ABBA tracks for ABBA Gold and the Thank You for the Music compilation, never went above that -2 decibels limit. So it does give headroom, and that's what I was showing in one of my earlier demo videos. Now this is another reply from one of the other writers in this magazine, who says, it's a sad thing, isn't it, that as affordable CD players finally get really good, the discs to play them on get worse. Patrick Cleesby, who has owned and run a DVD audio mastering facility in the past, told me several years ago that remasters generally don't sound anywhere near as good as the 80s flat transfers from original master tapes. I was somewhat incredulous, as I assumed modern analog to digitals were so much better than the 16-bit 48 kHz items used back then, but little did I realise he was talking about the fact that those original tapes are now mucked around with so much in the digital domain. Having just A to B'd my old CD copy of Prefab Sprout Steve McQueen with the new remaster, I can now see how Patrick Cleesby was right. The former sounds so much smoother, sweeter and more dynamic, not to mention more LP-like. What a shame that the best way to get audiophile CDs is now, it would appear, buying the old 80s and early 90s originals on eBay or Amazon, or your local second-hand record shop. Way to go, music industry. So in conclusion, it would seem that a lot of money and care is being put into remastering a lot of old music, and then it's ruined right at the final, I suppose, CD cutting stage by those that just want money, really. They want their music to sound loudest on the radio. So I suppose what I've got to do is go and visit turnmeup.org, see what that's all about, and also to, I suppose, be a bit more judicious. By the way, I don't actually see anything wrong with the sound on this CD. It's really good. So if anyone likes War of the Worlds, buy this CD. Okay, bye.